Everyone, thanks for tuning in. Today in this video, we're going to be talking about Bitcoin and whether we are in a bear market, are we in a bull market still, or does that question even matter? And we're also just going to jump into the charts a little bit more and see where we're at currently. So, if you find this video educational, entertaining, insightful, please like this video and subscribe to this channel for more cryptocurrency technical analysis. And without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the charts. All right, so as you can see here, we're back on our daily chart. We have our little ascending wedge pattern here that we broke a couple days ago. So I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of this bottom line, and we're kind of forming a larger line of resistance here, and I'd like to draw that out and kind of establish where that is. So you can see here um, from this, from this, and let me go ahead and make this red just to indicate this is a line of resistance. So you can see from this candle open to this candle uh, close, we have this line of resistance where we've had multiple wicks above, but we have not been able to close above this line of resistance. Now, currently on the daily, we're making a push towards that level, but we will see if we can actually close above, and if we can, that might be a decent sign for continuation upward. Now you can obviously see we're still holding above our green support line here, which is good. This is a good sign. We did when we had this drop, we adhered to this our Fibonacci retracement, which is, if I zoom out here, it's kind of hard to see, but this 1.272 level on our fibs, and that's why it is important to draw out these lines. I can't stress that enough. When you have, I know it looks like a big mess on my screen, but once you are able to understand, trend lines and understand Fibonacci retracements and understand moving averages, RSI, all these things, it's much more easier to dissect the data. It's much more easier to to not predict with 100% accuracy, but to kind of know the path of this price action. So when it had this dip down, most of these candles you can see adhere to some sort of line, some sort of price level, whether it's these lines of support or resistance, however you want to look at it, your Fibonacci retracement level, or even trend line. So you can see right here we're kind of stuck, and it's because of this line of resistance. This isn't just stuck for no reason. There is this line of resistance here that's been formed, for the past few days now. I wouldn't even say past few weeks now, because this goes all the way back to mid-June, where we are hitting our head on this, this resistance line. So where does that put us? You can see that we are still bouncing along inside our relative strength index resistance and support lines. And that's what I predicted, what was that, like a week ago, back when we were over here. I think we're going to stay inside this line, within this support and resistance line until we have to make a decision. Are we going to continue? Are you going to continue down the path of resistance, or are we going to continue upon the path of support and start to build upward momentum? And then hopefully what you see in that on the price action is that we start to break these levels of resistance and start to build potential higher highs rather than lower highs. So that is kind of where we're at right now. We're still kind of, it's a wait and see game. Now when it comes to are we in a bull market? Are we in a bear market? To me, honestly, that I don't think that matters. I mean, it matters to an extent. Obviously, when you're in a bear market, you're going to see lower highs, lower lows. If you're in a bull market, you're going to see higher highs and higher lows. There's a lot of people out there that have indicators that where they say like if we're still above this moving average, we're technically still in a bull market. If we're below this moving average, we're technically in a bear market. I just think the market is based more on emotion and sentiment rather than, okay, are we under this moving average? Are we above this moving average? You could dip below a moving average and then break it within the next week, and you're back and you're going, you're still continuing your bull market. Or you could be in a bearish trend and break a line of resistance and then fall back beneath it, and you're still in a bearish trend. As of right now, I believe if you made me choose, although I don't really think it matters, if I had a choice between are we in a bear market or are we in a bull market, I would say we're in a bear market. I mean, we have been trading sideways in a distribution pattern since basically like if you want to go all the way back to February, we've been kind of I mean, we have been creating newer highs, but they weren't the same as, what we were doing back in December, where we were making absolute powerhouse gains. And then we kind of lost some momentum here, and then you had a bearish divergence on the RSI, and that is where you're creating new highs, but your relative strength index is actually creating lower highs. So you see how while we were creating new highs here on these peaks, our relative strength index was actually decreasing. And that's called a bearish divergence. So based on those two things and the fact that we are still following a downward trend, I mean, we have broken this resistance line. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that, actually. I think we've passed that point on this resistance line. We're kind of beyond that. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. But we're still in a downward trend, so to speak. Like we've created this high and then we haven't been able to build off of that. We basically still are falling. So I think sentiment is still bearish, but that doesn't mean things can turn around, in the next few weeks, the next few months. Um, so don't let that get in your head, the whole like, are we in a bullish market? Are we in a bearish market? Oh, we're not in a bullish market. I shouldn't come in. Like I shouldn't invest. I shouldn't, or I shouldn't put my money towards this asset. The famous Baron Rothschild quote is you buy when there's blood in the streets. So if you want to call this blood in the streets, call blood in the streets. So yeah, that's where we're currently at right now. Uh, Market prices starting to attack that line of resistance. We'll see what happens. I will keep you guys updated. And yeah, thank you for watching.